2024 is definitely not Drake's year at all, as he has been picking up strays left and right and never seems to catch a break. What began as a friendly rivalry between him and Kendrick Lamar swiftly escalated into a public annihilation when Kendrick came for him with all the smoke. Things only got worse when the million-dollar Toronto mansion where Drake has been hiding burst into flooding, leaving it looking completely destroyed. You could bet that Kendrick did not let this go unnoticed, as he hurled some harsh criticism at Drake. These two men are going to have sex again, so chill, you better get on this. We must now concede that the conflict between Drake and Kendrick is not going to end, at least not anytime soon. What's crazy about this is that the beef began between Cole and... It's crazy because J. Cole didn't even criticize Kendrick at first. Rather, he called him one of the biggest rappers in the world, saying, "Love when they argue. The hardest MC, is it K. Dot? Or is it Aubrey or me with the big three, like we started a league?" However, given his past with Dr., I feel like Muhammad Ali Kendrick didn't take this well. He clapped back at J. Cole and Drake in their collaboration with Metro Boomin, titled Like That. "Will not abandon the location, I still have PTSD. Mother F, the big three ninjas, it's just big me." However, Drake wasn't going to let Kendrick have the last laugh without a fight. He responded with two diss tracks, Push-Ups and Tailor Made. For a brief moment, it seemed like Drake might be at the top of his game and might win the beef, but Kendrick wasn't going to let that pass. He returned with all his might, dropping Euphoria, one of the nastiest and meanest diss tracks we've heard in a while. While we were coping, he dropped another diss track, 616 in Law, which was just as savage. He spilled all kinds of teases about Dr. and his crew, portraying him as a weakling who is desperately paying people to get dirt. On Kendrick, Drake attempted to retaliate, releasing another diss track called Track Family Matters, in which he came for Kendrick's family, accusing him of allegedly putting paws on his girlfriend Whitney. Kendrick was also accused of being an absentee father, saying on some bobbies, "I want to know what Whitney needs." All that puppy love was over in y'all late teens. Why you never hold your son and tell him to say cheese? We could have left the kids out of this. Don't blame me. This was a cunning move on Drake's part, as Kendrick has been battling for a long time against claims that he allegedly put paws on Whitney.
There's certain things too now. There was a shocking story about you, and I was like, there's no way this is true.
Yeah.
When they said you were in Vegas and you beat some guy bloody and you did something to some female,
Yeah.
and they said they had evidence and all of this, and then I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, because it's foolishness. That's the most ignorant stuff I've ever heard made up.
I was like, Kendrick did that? I doubt it.
And, you know, that person, whoever made that up, owes an apology. Not to me, but to women that actually go out there and get a... You dig what I'm saying? That's a real issue, and to be putting a person name that you know that stands for someone way more better, that's been raised way more better than that. That's not cool. There's people out there that really get a, and there's women out there that get a and don't say nothing, and you know, live their lives through that. So that's.
Because I was like, I'm sure if that happened, there'd have been a police report. You would have been arrested.
That's foolishness. That's ignorant. That's all the way ignorant to 100%.
When you hear things in the news, certain things I believe about artists. That story, I didn't even think that was remotely close to your character at all.
Yeah, you'd be in jail, man. They put you under.
Then Kendrick revealed that Drake was, in fact, a PDF file in the song Meet the Grams, in which he dropped Drake's mother and said, "Sandra, sit down. This is heavy. Listen to your son. He's a sick man with sick thoughts. Ninjas like him and Weinstein should, in my opinion, wake up in a cell for the rest of their lives." He despises black women and hypersexualizes them. He grew facial hair because he realized that having a beard fit in better. He also had offenders on Jovio, whom he kept on a monthly allowance. A child's safety should never be compromised, and we have to raise our daughters with the knowledge that someone like him could lurk just around the corner. Naturally, Wilder at this point. Other rappers joined in and shamed Drake for filth, dropping various diss tracks against Drake. Kendrick dropped another diss track, Not Like Us, and it was even more insane than the last one. To top it all off, he used a picture of Drake's mansion as cover art. There's no way around the unpleasant business of having half of the industry drag you for filth and chili. Thought Drake was a capable competitor to other rappers in the industry. Drake took the lead in his diss track Push-Ups, so it's difficult to blame Rick Ross for being one of the rappers who came after him. Not one to let this go, Ross dropped a diss track called Champagne Moments, in which he said, "Getting bullied, don't walk up on me," because the clip is fully animated. Drake then threatened to take your newest girlfriend, saying, "I might take your latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky." I can't believe he's jumping in this ninja. turning 50 for every song that made it on the chart he got from Drizzy. Ninja's P doesn't want to push me. I ask, really, would he like his moves? But he never had to fight in school. Instead, he always raced beside another ninja and had to copy and paste your grooves. You got the juice from Wheezy. At the park, a different white boy wants to hang out with the group. Moreover, Rick Ross was very explicit about his team loyalty. Kendrick clowned Drake and begged him to retire after dropping the diss tracks and meeting the Grams.
I just want to make this clear. White boy, they said you said if you was young girls, you promised you would have been arrested. Whoever wrote that for you should have put more thought into that. White boy, it's your writers. Whatever message you translated to them, that wasn't the way they were supposed to do that. And as a writer, when it comes to you gotta remove yourself from that. White boy, that wasn't the line right there.
Not to mention Metro Boomin, who posted a beat online and invited followers to contribute diss recordings against Drake. Drake was struggling to survive against all of these operations, and things got even worse when his Toronto home was shot up in a drive-by shooting. Fans immediately tried to blame Kendrick because of the beef and the fact that he used a map of Drake's home on the cover art for Not Like Us. But as people pointed out, Drake's Toronto address has been open to the public for a long time, which brings us back to The Weeknd. You may be wondering why people would accuse The Weeknd of coming for Drake in this way, but rumor has it, here is the juicy backstory for those who are not up to date. Back in the day, when The Weeknd was just getting started, Drake was one of the first to get into a full-blown feud between their labels, OVO and XO. Famous people to recognize his potential rumor has it that The Weeknd was meant for greatness from the start. Drake's right-hand man, 40, was the one who first got to know him over The Weeknd and then introduced him to Drake. Drake was eager to sign The Weeknd to OO Records, but the deal didn't happen right away. In fact, Drake and The Weeknd never officially signed a contract, but they continued to work together, with Drake serving as The Weeknd's mentor during their ascent to fame. The Weeknd even contributed to writing at least 4 tracks on Drake's 2011 album Take Care. This is where things get a little complicated. Dark and mysterious when the truth eventually came out a few years later. Drake was kind of forced into giving The Weeknd some well-deserved writing credits on Take Care, but they didn't let that stop them by then. Drake didn't exactly give The Weeknd credit for his work on the album, and for a while it seemed like he was keeping it secret. Drake was extremely considering the notion of formally welcoming The Weeknd into the OO family since he realized he had a musical prodigy on his hands, but The Weeknd was also incredibly astute. He was closely monitoring OO and detected something strange. In fairness, none of Drake's as he is were really successful at the time. It's not like Drake was actively undermining his musicians or something. Although juggling one successful career is difficult enough, trying to stay on top while also building someone else's profession is a whole new level of challenging, and not many people manage to pull it off smoothly watching the scene unfold at Drake's OVO label. The truth is that it's pretty common for a super busy artist to struggle with balancing their own career while trying to help others break out. The Weeknd, he realized exactly what his future would hold if he stayed there, so he played it smart and signed with Republic Records in 2012, launching his own EXO Records. Boy, did that move pay off. He got to forge his own path and truly shine in his career. Drake, however, wasn't exactly celebrating this development. He felt pretty sour about The Weeknd jumping ship to Republic Records, believing The Weeknd owed him for all the free promo he'd given him back in the day. As soon as the news was released, Drake began to tweet about The Weeknd's disloyalty and ungrateful behavior. But The Weeknd wasn't exactly ungrateful, acknowledging Drake's role in the beginning of his career.
There be no The Weeknd, there be no XO, so please make some noise for my mentor, my brother.
Drake then tweeted something sour and spiteful, something like, "You owe me a favor, you won't get away with just a thank you." Drake wasn't going to let The Weeknd pass without creating a stir, especially with dollar signs dancing in his head, so he chose to play the small card. After The Weeknd and Bella split up, Dr. Drake intervened almost immediately, igniting rumors that he was now seeing Bella. It was obvious that Drake was taking advantage of Bella to push The Weeknd's buttons. He even released a song titled Finesse, in which he bared all. "I want my baby to have your eyes. I'm going against my own advice. Should I do New York? I can't even lie. I'd rather stay inside. The Weeknd wasn't going to take that lying down. Drake even dropped. I just want a baby with the right one because I could never be the one to hide one out, he said, throwing major shade at Drake. This was a direct jab at Drake for not disclosing the existence of his son Adonis until Pusha T revealed the truth about their beef. Unbelievably, The Weeknd also became entangled in the dispute between Drake and the rest of the music industry, hopping on a Metro Boomin song to shade Drake on the song All to Myself. The Weeknd hinted that Drake allegedly tried to give him a very bad contract when he wanted to sign him to OAO back in the day. He said, "Look at how we movin', baby. They could never diss my brother's baby when they got leaks in the operation. I thank God that I never signed my life away." Things took a bad turn when there was an unexplained shooting at the longtime Weeknd manager Cash. For those who don't know, Cash has been with The Weeknd since way back in the day. Fortunately, Cash was unharmed, but a security guard was shot and ended up in the hospital. According to a statement released by the police, the victim, a 37-year-old black man, was inside a guard shack when he heard several gunshots and realized he had been struck. The suspects, 3 males without further details, fled the scene. The victim was transported to a local hospital in an unknown condition. The incident was reported as a home invasion, but the streets believed it wasn't just any old invasion.
We're following breaking news. A security guard has been shot in Encino, and we now know the home has ties to the artist The Weeknd. Scott Reif live in Air 7 HD with details. Scott.
Yeah, Rachel, this is the home in question. Now, you see the emblem there on the basketball court. That's a record label of The Weeknd. And then you see the guard shack. You see a chair that's toppled over. And then you see what appear to be evidence markers. Those could be shell casings. We don't know for sure. We can't tell with our camera. But we can tell they're investigating in the back of the home. LAPD officers are here. About 2:45 this morning, there was a shooting. The security guard was shot. Transported. Condition is unknown. So it's unclear right now if the security guard was shot during some sort of attempted robbery or burglary into the home, or if that security guard had been targeted here. We'll open up a little bit out of this shot and show you. It's reportedly a $12 million home that is believed to be owned by a music industry executive with ties to the Weeknd.
Drake was battling for his life in this chaotic situation against all of the business people when we heard about rumors of a drive-by shooting at Drake's Toronto home and the shooting of a security guard.
Police confirming a shooting occurred outside the home of Canadian rapper Drake in Toronto. This happening overnight in the wake of an escalating beef between Drake and hip-hop star Kendrick Lamar. This is the scene outside of Drake's home in the city's Bridle Path neighborhood, courtesy of our CTV News chopper. Police say a man sustained serious injuries after a shooting outside that home and was taken to hospital. Police also say a suspect fled in a vehicle, but no description has been released. So far, there's no word on whether Drake was at home at the time of the shooting, but we understand from police that he has offered to fully cooperate.
It was claimed that Drake had fled the U.S. for Canada during this controversy, which isn't surprising given that Canada is his home and that everyone in the industry was pursuing him in Chile. This was considered a personal hit, which wasn't surprising. I would have fled back home as well, but fleeing to Canada was insufficient to end the disrespect since Kendrick kept making fun of him, and his music became a massive hit that peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song was played 6 times in a succession by The Weeknd during his Pop Out event in June, with the audience joining him in every word. Chilean discourse about disrespect. Chilean, the fact that hundreds of people are singing a diss track 6 times is insane, but it doesn't end there. Kendrick was petty AF, and that's enough to significantly damage someone's mental health. In 3 days after releasing the Not Like Us music video, Kendrick even included a photo of himself. The video garnered over 30 million views. The video of Whitney and their children dancing together completely dispels the unsavory claims that he mistreated Whitney and talked about making a statement. Fans began to feel terrible for Drake because Kendrick continued to release hit after hit, and Drake had been gently implying that his mental health wasn't the best, as evidenced by the tearful video he posted on his Instagram stories.
This criticism. Maybe I do. But when you die, will people want us? Well, I know there will be a lot of memories to me by a lot of people. Many will think that you were so. A person needs to live with vigor. Otherwise, what's more?
Not only was it difficult to watch him get attacked while already struggling, but more photos of Drake from a few days earlier at Michael Rubin's party went viral, and my man looked really stressed out. According to insider information, Drake is deeply unhappy with the whole scenario and finds it quite taxing. He believes that Kendrick is going too far in embarrassing him in public and not being fair, so that's not positive enough. With the recent intense rains in Ontario, Canada, Drake uploaded a video of his flooded mansion, which was also affected by flooding. Chyla? Drake is a constant source of frustration. He was hiding in Toronto since the US was treating him badly, but at least he was well-liked there. For instance, Rick Ross was jumped when he attempted to perform Not Like Us in Toronto, because Drake isn't included in Toronto's musical offerings. Shelley. I'm embarrassed to say that I witnessed Drake's love for this. He was caught liking a video of the incident, and Rick tried to save face by saying, "I thought they were bottle boys." So, although his Toronto mansion was his safe haven, it's unclear what he will do now that it's flooded. He still owns his Toronto mansion and the $155 million mansion he recently purchased in Washington, Texas, but I don't think he will move there because it will only make matters worse. You know how Kendrick referred to Drake as a PDF file? Well, based on reports, the mansion is only 1 hour and 10 minutes from the city with the highest number of documented human cases in. The country with the most child cases is America. Fans had a lot to say about this and commented that Drake is definitely suffering from your standard biblical plagues, floods and famine, not like us. For 40 days and 40 nights, Kendrick had crips and blood shaking. Child being accused of inappropriate behavior with minors and then choosing to relocate to an area notorious for that type of thing is a very, very bad idea. And again, it doesn't seem like he's interested in beating the allegations. Well, Kendrick seems to be enjoying this very much, and according to an insider, he has been humiliating Drake for his troubles, especially now that he can no longer hide in Canada. I'm laughing so hard at this. Did Kendrick put a curse on this man? Did he even turn nature against him? The crazy thing about this is that J. Cole, the one who started the beef, has been relaxing by the beach the entire time, while Drake and Kendrick fight it out. Talk about a setup. Anyway, let me know what you think by leaving a comment below and watching the next video.